Pavo, constellation, from Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, at en.wikipedia.org. Pavo is a constellation in the southern sky whose name is Latin for peacock. Pavo first appeared on a 35-centimeter, 14-inch diameter celestial globe, published in 1598 in Amsterdam by Plancius and Jodocus Hondius, and was depicted in Johann Bayer's star atlas Uranometria of 1603, and was likely conceived by Petrus Plancius from the observations of Peter Dirkzoon-Kayser and Frederick D. Houtman. French explorer and astronomer Nicolas Louis de Lacaille gave its stars Bayer designations in 1756. The constellations Pavo, Grus, Phoenix, and Tucana are collectively known as the Southern Birds. The constellation's brightest member, Alpha Pavonis, is also known as Peacock, and appears as a 1.91 magnitude blue-white star, but is actually a spectroscopic binary. Delta Pavonis is a nearby sun-like star some 19.9 light-years distant. 6 of the star systems in Pavo have been found to host planets, including HD 181433 with a super-Earth, and HD 172555 with evidence of a major interplanetary collision in the past few thousand years. The constellation contains NGC 6752, the third brightest globular cluster in the sky, and the spiral galaxy NGC 6744, which closely resembles the Milky Way but is twice as large. Pavo displays an annual meteor shower known as the Delta Pavonids, whose radiant is near the star Delta Pav. Section 1. History and Mythology. Section 1.1. History of the modern constellation. Pavo was one of the 12 constellations established by Petrus Plancius from the observations of the southern sky by explorers Peter Dirkzoon-Kayser and Frederick D. Houtman, who had sailed on the first Dutch trading expedition, known as the Eerste Scheepvaart, to the East Indies. It first appeared on a 35-centimeter, 14-inch diameter celestial globe, published in 1598 in Amsterdam by Plancius with Jodocus Hondius. The first depiction of this constellation in the celestial atlas was in German cartographer Johann Bayer's Uranometria of 1603. D. Houtman included it in his Southern Star catalog the same year under the Dutch name De Pauw, the peacock. Pavo and the nearby constellations Phoenix, Grus, and Tucana are collectively called the Southern Birds. Section 1.2. The Peacock in Greek Mythology. According to Mark Chartrand, former executive director of the National Space Institute, Plancius may not have been the first to designate this group of stars as a peacock. Quote, in Greek myth, the stars that are now the peacock were Argus, or Argus, builder of the ship Argo. He was changed by the goddess Juno into a peacock and placed into the sky along with the ship. Unquote. Indeed, the peacock symbolized the starry firmament for the Greeks, and the goddess Hera was believed to drive through the heavens in a chariot drawn by peacocks. The peacock and the Argus nomenclature are also prominent in a different myth, in which Io, a beautiful princess of Argos, was lusted after by Zeus, Jupiter. Zeus changed Io into a heifer to deceive his wife and sister Hera and a couple with her. Hera saw through Zeus's scheme and asked for the heifer as a gift. Zeus, unable to refuse such a reasonable request, reluctantly gave the heifer to Hera, who promptly banished Io and arranged for Argus Panoptes, a creature with 100 eyes, guard the now pregnant Io from Zeus. Meanwhile, Zeus entreated Hermes to save Io. Hermes used music to lull Argus Panoptes to sleep, then slew him. Hera adorned the tail of a peacock, her favorite bird, with Argus's eyes in his honor. As recounted in Ovid's Metamorphoses, the death of Argus Panoptes also contains an explicit celestial reference. Quote, Argus lay dead, so many eyes, so bright quenched, and all 100 shrouded in one night. Hera retrieved those eyes to set in place among the feathers of her bird, the peacock, Pavo, and filled his tail with starry jewels. Unquote. It is uncertain whether the Dutch astronomers had the Greek mythos in mind when creating Pavo, but, in keeping with other constellations introduced by Plancius through Kayser and D. Houtman, the peacock in the new constellation likely referred to the green peacock, which the explorers would have encountered in the East Indies, rather than the blue peacock known to the ancient Greeks. Image: Pavo, upper right, with the other southern birds, in its first appearance in the Celestial Atlas, Johann Bayer's Uranometria. Section 1.3. Equivalents and Other Cultures. The Wardaman people of the Northern Territory in Australia saw the stars of Pavo and the neighboring constellation Era as flying foxes. Section 2. Characteristics. Image. The constellations Pavo and Indus, featured on the chart of the Southern Celestial Hemisphere by Johann Gabriel Doppelmayr in his Atlas Coelestis, circa 1742. Pavo is bordered by Telescopium to the north, Apus and Era to the west, Octans to the north, and Indus to the east and northeast. Covering 378 square degrees, it ranks 44th of the 88 modern constellations in size and covers 0.916% of the night sky. The three-letter abbreviation for the constellation, as adopted by the International Astronomical Union in 1922, is PAV. The official constellation boundaries, as set by Belgian astronomer Eugene Delporte in 1930, are defined by a polygon of 10 segments. In the equatorial coordinate system, the right ascension coordinates of these borders lie between 18 hours 10.4 minutes and 21 hours 32.4 minutes, while the declination coordinates are between negative 56.59 degrees and negative 74.98 degrees. As one of the deep southern constellations, it remains below the horizon at latitudes north of the 30th parallel in the northern hemisphere, and is circumpolar at latitudes south of the 50th parallel in the southern hemisphere. Section 3. Features. Section 3.1. Stars. Image. The constellation Pavo as it can be seen by the naked eye. Although he depicted Pavo on his chart, Bayer did not assign his stars Bayer destinations. French explorer and astronomer Nicolas Louis de Lacaille labeled them Alpha to Omega in 1756, but omitted Psi and Xi, and labeled two pairs of stars close together, Mu and Phi Pavonis. In 1879, American astronomer Benjamin Gould designated the star Z Pavonis as he felt its brightness warranted a name, but dropped Chi Pavonis due to its faintness. Lying near the constellation's northern border, with Telescopium, is Alpha Pavonis, the brightest star in Pavo. Its proper name, Peacock, is an English translation of the constellation's name. It was assigned by the British Her Majesty's Nautical Almanac Office in the late 1930s. The Royal Air Force insisted that all bright stars must have names, the star hitherto having lacked a proper name. Alpha has an apparent, or visual, magnitude of 1.91 in the spectral type B2IV. It is a spectroscopic binary system, one estimate placing the distance between the pair of stars as 0.21 astronomical units, AU, or half the distance between Mercury and the Sun. The two stars rotate around each other in a mere 11 days and 18 hours. The star system is located around 180 light-years away from the Earth. With an apparent magnitude of 3.43, Beta Pavonis is the second brightest star in the constellation, a white giant of spectral class A7II. It is an aging star that has used up the hydrogen fuel at its core and has expanded and cooled after moving off the main sequence. It lies 135 light-years away from the solar system. Lying a few degrees west of Beta is Delta Pavonis, a nearby sun-like but more evolved star. This is a yellow subgiant of spectral type G8IV and apparent magnitude of 3.56, that is only 19.9 light-years distant from Earth. East of Beta, and at the constellation's eastern border with Indus, is Gamma Pavonis, a fainter solar-type star 30 light-years from Earth with a magnitude of 4.22, and stellar class F9V. Other nearby stars in Pavo are much fainter. STR 1845-6357, the nearest star in Pavo, is a binary system with apparent magnitude of 17.4, consisting of a red dwarf and brown dwarf companion, lying around 12.6 light-years distant, while Gliese 693 is a red dwarf of magnitude 10.78, lying 19 light-years away. Pavo contains several variable stars of note. Lambda Pavonis is a bright irregular variable, ranging between magnitudes 3.4 and 4.4. This variation can be observed with the unaided eye. Classed as a Gamma Cassiopeiae variable or shell star, it is a spectral type B2II, IIIe, and lies around 1,430 light-years distant from Earth. Kappa Pavonis is a W Virginius variable, a subclass of Type II Cepheid. It ranges from magnitude 3.91 to 4.78 over 9 days, and is a yellow-white supergiant pulsating between spectral classes F5I II and G5I II. Nu and V Pavonis are pulsating semi-regular variable red giant stars. Nu has a spectral type M6 III and ranges from magnitude 4.9 to 5.3, while V Pavonis ranges from magnitude 6.2 to 8.2 over 2 periods of 225.4 and 3,735 days concurrently. V is a carbon star. Note 1. C6 is equivalent to a class M2 through M3 star. The 4 shows the strength of the Swan bands on a scale of 1 weak to 5 strong, and the NB indicates bands of the chemical element niobium, top of spectral type C6-4NB, with a prominent red hue. Located in the west of the constellation and depicting the peacock's tail are Eta and Z Pavonis. At apparent magnitude 3.6, Eta is a luminous orange giant of spectral type K2II, some 350 light-years distant from Earth. Z Pavonis is a multiple star system visible in small telescopes as a brighter orange star and fainter white companion. Located around 470 light-years from Earth, the system has a magnitude of 4.38. AR Pavonis is a faint but well-studied eclipsing binary composed of a red giant and smaller hotter star some 18,000 light-years from Earth. It has some features of a cataclysmic variable, the smaller component most likely having an accretion disk. The visual magnitude ranges from 7.4 to 13.6 over 605 days. In November 2018, the 8th magnitude star, HD 186302, became the second star identified to be a solar sibling, this one being particularly sun-like. Same spectra G2, virtually the same mass as well, with a twin spectra revealing identical metallicity. Section 3.2. Planetary Systems and Debris Disks. 6 stars with planetary systems have been found. 3 planets have been discovered in the system of the orange star HD 181433, an inner super-Earth with an orbital period of 9.4 days, and 2 outer gas giants with periods of 2.6 and 6 years respectively. HD 196050 and HD 175167 are yellow G-class sun-like stars, while HD 190984 is an F-class main sequence star slightly larger and hotter than the Sun. All 3 are accompanied by a gas giant companion. HD 172555 is a young white A-type main sequence star, 2 planets of which appear to have a major collision in the past few thousand years. Spectrographic evidence of large amounts of silicon dioxide gas indicates the smaller of the 2, which had been at least the size of Earth's moon, was destroyed, and the larger, which was at least the size of Mercury, was severely damaged. Evidence of the collision was detected by NASA's Spitzer Space Telescope. In the south of the constellation, Epsilon Pavonis is a 3.95 magnitude white main sequence star of spectral type A0VA, located around 105 light-years distant from Earth. It appears to be surrounded by a narrow ring of dust in a distance of 107 astronomical units. Section 3.3. Deep Sky Objects. The deep sky objects in Pavo include NGC 6752, the third brightest globular cluster in the sky, after 47 Tucanae and Omega Centauri. An estimated 100 light-years across, it is thought to contain 100,000 stars. Barely visible behind the cluster is a dwarf spheroidal galaxy known as Bedin I. Lying 3 degrees to the south is NGC 6744, a spiral galaxy around 30 million light-years away from Earth that resembles the Milky Way, but is twice its diameter. A Type 1c supernova was discovered in the galaxy in 2005. Known as SN 2005 AT, it peaked at magnitude 16.8. The dwarf galaxy IC 4662 lies 10 arc-minutes northeast of Eta Pavonis, and is of magnitude 11.62. Located only 8 million light-years away, it has several regions of high star formation. The 14th magnitude galaxy, IC 4965, lies 1.7 degrees west of Alpha Pavonis, and is a central member of the Shapley supercluster. The galactic wind-bearing NGC 6810 and the interacting NGC 6872/IC 4970 galaxies lie 87 and 212 million light-years away from Earth, respectively. Image. The globular cluster NGC 6752 contains an estimated 100,000 stars. Section 3.4. Meteor Showers. Pavo is the radiant of 2 annual meteor showers, the Delta Pavonids and August Pavonids, appearing from 21 March to 8 April, and generally peaking around 5 and 6 April. Delta Pavonids are thought to be associated with Comet Grigg-Mellish. The shower was discovered by Michael Buhagiar from Perth, Australia, who observed meteors on 6 occasions between 1969 and 1980. The August Pavonids peak around August 31 and are thought to be associated with the Halley-type comet Levy, P/1991 L3. Section 4. See also: Pavo, Chinese astronomy. Section 5. Notes. Section 6. References. Section 7. Sources. Section 8. External links. This sound file and all text in the article are licensed under the Creative Commons Attribution Share Alike 3.0 Unported License. Available at creativecommons.org/licenses/by-SA/3.0.